As a content creator, it's my job to show you the good times, but also the bad times. The times when we are going 5-0, 5-0, 4-1, 5-0.
And then the hard times where, I don't know, maybe we tried to play Blastoise in Master League Premier and it tanked us down to the 2300s because we played all 5 sets and went negative every single time, and yeah, couldn't make it work.
So this video is going to be about us beginning our journey out of the pits. I mean, honestly, I feel like my back was broken by Bane and I was thrown into this bottomless pit where all the prisoners stay for life and they will never escape and never save Gotham. Maybe a little bit on the nose there, but either way, let's get started. The team I'm using today is actually the rank #1 team in the entire world, and it's from none other than your own SceptileIce25. Now, Sceptile does make some very questionable choices with the Pokemon that he plays. He likes Mantine. He played it at EUIC and actually beat Dunebug97, so that was a really big win, but probably the biggest win of Mantine's career, right? If we exclude some of Emmy Weedle's gameplay. But anyways, I digress. SceptileIce, very, very talented. Actually, #1 in the entire world is a crazy accomplishment, no matter how experienced you are. And this is a trainer that's really come into his own lately, so excited to see SceptileIce doing big things, and let's see if his team can help us in a big way. I wanted to find out if this team for SceptileIce, that is basically a legend caliber team, can work down in the pits. Let's find out. All right, our first game of this video is going to be against Emma. We've got a Claydol in the lead, as well as Golisopod and Talonflame. Now, my friend Homesize Henry did do a video on this team already. He talked about the strategy. Mainly, you want that Talonflame to be a sweeper. You want to get it up with a shield advantage and try to put it in a position where it can just rickroll through the opposing team. Now, Jump Bluff is a little bit of a tricky lead, and I'm expecting double flying sets here, but I got to remember that not everyone plays in the Championship Series, and that is still an energy ball Jump Bluff. So a little bit of a weird play here by me to go into the Talonflame, but I wanted to see if I could clear out that Jump Bluff because I know that behind energy, my Golisopod's going to struggle, my Claydol's going to struggle, and if I was going to play out the Claydol versus Jump Bluff matchup, I should have just shielded. I should have shielded the first charge attack and then just played the Rock Tomb games until I could put Talonflame in position to farm down. So I will say that's the first mistake that I made so far. Azumarill does take us down. We come in with Golisopod. Now, as you'll notice, this team has 3 Pokemon on it, which is not that big of a surprise. But the big surprise is that none of these Pokemon can beat Azumarill. None of them win against Azumarill in even shields, so you have to get really creative when you play this Pokemon. And honestly, the matchups are not that bad. Claydol versus Azumarill is very close. You're going to pace at the same time and win the charge attack priority and debuff the opponent. And your Mud Slaps are doing about as much as a Bubble does to you, so doesn't really hurt that much. My opponent comes into their final Pokemon with it, which is Gastrodon, and this is actually very, very good for us. As you know, being Bug and Water, we're going to resist the Mud Slaps with our Bug typing as well as the Earth Power. The only thing we're really worried about is getting hit with Body Slam spam. The opponent does swap now into the Jump Bluff, and I'm actually just going to stay in here with the Golisopod and go ahead and shield this Aerial Ace. Now, my hope is that I can Shadow Claw down. Let's see if we can pull it off. Yes, we can. 4 Shadow Claws. We're able to get the KO. Swap into the Claydol to catch a potential Earth Power, or probably more likely the Body Slam. Now, my big goal here is to get a shield from the opponent. I need 4 more Mud Slaps to do it. As you can see, the damage is not adding up that fast. We get to the Scorching Sands. I know that I win the charge attack priority against the Slug, so able to throw that charge attack there, coming with the Golisopod, and as long as my charge attack buttons come up, which they do, I am able to win this matchup versus the Gastrodon. So really nice for us and Golisopod with Sceptile's team in game #1. Gonna look at this game #2 here. Again, we are deep down in the pits, everybody, deep down in the pits. So if you're in even lower ELO than that, I do apologize. I do think that that entire region from 2000 to 2300 is definitely considered the pits. To some elite players, being in like the 2750s is the pits. So it's all relative, right? We're going to stay in this Azumarill matchup this time. Claydol does get off the first Rock Tomb for the debuff, winning the charge attack priority like we talked about. And I can go for another one here, but I want to get cheeky and catch an Ice Beam, and we do get our wish. Opponent is going to throw a resisted charge attack now into our water type Golisopod after being debuffed. And then they come in Pangoro, which actually, sorry, I'm still working on the pronunciation. Pangoro throws the first Night Slash. These Karate Chops are going to be resisted. Bug typing is honestly a phenomenal safe switch. Charge Bug has been a good safe swap when you don't see a Clodsire on the other side. Other bug types like Ariados have been very good historically. This Golisopod is quite good in the current meta. Night Slash just connect, does KO us, but that's not a big deal. Coming now with the Talonflame, I think my opponent might have been close to doing another Night Slash there, but maybe it was a DRE situation. Unclear at this point. Gonna throw one Incinerate. That's 5 turns. And then you have 2 bubbles for 6 turns. So we're gonna line that up. Opponent does shield, which is interesting. It tells me they're weak to Talonflame in the back. So we are absolutely gonna shield our sweeper here. Azumarill throws the Ice Beam into the Talonflame. Going to throw actually 2 more Incinerates. I know this is not ideal timing because you're actually giving up 2 free turns of energy to the opponent, but I'm confident my opponent will no shield, and they do, which means that that final bubble never went through. My opponent threw 2 Mud Slaps. They need 5 Mud Slaps for the Rock Slide, which means I can throw 1 more Incinerate here and get to another Fly, and I can bank it and then swap into the Claydol against the Marowak because I do have that banked move ready to go. Rock Tomb does get shielded. I know that Talonflame is going to win the charge type priority over the Marowak, so I'm not super concerned about the outcome of this game. Feeling pretty good. Bone Club does connect, and you know what? We might not even need the Talonflame in the end because Claydol gets it done. Also, shout out to all my Claydol fans out there. I know my co-host of the Show 6 podcast, Z Zwylos, loves the Claydol, and it's really fun to play it in GBL. It's a little better than I thought, but I still don't think it's that great. All right, Zwylos. All right. Gonna go ahead and throw the Scorching Sands now into the Gastrodon. Man, the sun's like coming out and then going away and then coming back out. Then we swap into our Golisopod. Golisopod obviously has a really good matchup. Resisted Earth Power, not a big deal. They come in with the Malamar. Oh, Squid Game's on the field. And remember, everybody, it's going to be 5 Shadow Claws for that Malamar's charge attacks. And we're already ahead by at least 1 Shadow Claw. So we are going to apply a ton of pressure here. Now, the question is, do we get Psywave down before we get to our 3rd X Scissor? And it looks like we might, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I'm able to get off a 2nd X Scissor all the same. Firing this off here into the Malamar, takes the final shield. We go now into the Talonflame. I figure that it's not going to run Hyper Beam. I really think that's unlikely. I figure that I'll let the first foul play through, and then I'll shield the second one, of course, because you don't want to faint. Then I'll throw maybe 1 more Incinerate and then the Fly. Let's see if that works out, everybody. Gonna throw 1 more Incinerate into the Fly. I'm only 1 Incinerate from the next one. And the Gastrodon did spend a lot of energy earlier on in the game. So maybe I'll throw 1 more Incinerate. I don't want to take a Body Slam, so I do throw the Fly to pick up the KO. We're going to see what the opponent's 3rd Pokemon is. We got a very weak Golisopod, a very weak Talonflame. Final Pokemon is Clodsire, and guess what, everybody? We go right into the Claydol. It's a little bit windy, so I'm going to turn my body like this to shield from the wind. I thought the wind was coming from that direction, but now it's coming from this direction, so that's where we are. Gonna go ahead and take that Earthquake, no problemo, throw 1 more Mud Slap, and then the Scorching Sands into the Clodsire, which does take it deep down into the red. And honestly, even if this move KOs right here, which if it's an Earthquake, it will. If it's anything else, it will not. Yeah, we were able to get to the final Mud Slap. So 3-ball flex after bailing out our Golisopod and our Talonflame. Really, really weak, but I do feel confident that if that would have KO'd us, we could have gone in with Talonflame and won that game anyway. This next battle is against Hardee's. Branded trainer names win, right? I want to pair against Burger King, all right? Where's Ronald McDonald? I want to see them. Where are they at? Anyways, Hardee's has a really fun team that I actually tried to use after this set. It's actually quite fun. Gonna go ahead and swap now into Golisopod. I love the Shadow Kanto Marowak because I feel like Pokemon like Morpeko are such a threat. And for example, Clodsire as well. If you don't have a Mud Slapper, they can be such a threat, such an annoyance. That's part of the reason I like this team so much as well. It's because you do have that Claydol pressure. Now you see the second Pokemon is gonna be the Toxapex. Toxapex, of course, is going to have a really good matchup here against the fellow water type Golisopod because I can't hit it for anything, right? Even if I had Aerial Ace, it'd just be neutral. And it wouldn't do that much damage. I mean, I think I'd rather for the stab. Even if it's resisted, stab is typically a better move. Opponent does a really nice undercharge there. I'm going to try to throw this. Maybe they think it's a Rock Tomb and they'll survive it and they no shield. But they've got so much energy, they decide to shield, which is a little bit unfortunate for our Claydol. Gonna try to go for another Mud Slap here. I've got another move. I try to go for the Mud Slap down, but I'm a little bit too greedy right there. My opponent does get to 1 more brine. This will KO if it connects, so I am forced to shield. Opponent comes in with Claydol, and now this game is over. This is one of the most important reasons to keep shields for your Pokemon, for your Talonflame, because there are picks like Claydol in the meta that are so powerful, and the Rock Tomb is absolutely going to ruin us here as it connects. Because it was debuffed, I actually survived, but my goodness, was that a very, very slim survival there. So yeah, I really recommend if you are going to play this team, you got to watch out. When you go shields down, Claydol goes to town against this team, especially because you have a Claydol in the lead. You've got a Golisopod, a bug type Pokemon, and you've got a Talonflame. I mean, Claydol can hit all three of these Pokemon for a lot of damage. Next battle, we're going to get a Shadow Galarian Weezing in the lead. They swap into Dugong, and this is really what people were saying when they went into the Fortaleza and Vancouver regionals earlier this season. They were saying that Dugong just can't hang against the likes of Golisopod. So this matchup is going to be really favorable for the Golisopod, but you're going to see it actually gets pretty close. I know there are very talented players like LNDST Steiner, who is still playing Dugong to this day and making it work, so kudos to him. X-Scissor does connect into the Dugong. It's going to deal some significant damage. Dugong going for one more charge attack. If it's a drill run, it's actually going to hurt. They throw the Icy Wind though, and I think I get a little bit lost in the sauce here. I get a little bit too greedy, and I think I can Shadow Claw down, but I should have been aware, should have realized that was going to be impossible. I'll let the Golisopod go, and I get some energy on the Talonflame. Now, I did give up Switch, which could be a problem. Opponent comes back in with the G-Weezing, and they are going to get to another charge attack here. Excuse me. I almost said another. This is their first. They only did 4 Fairy Winds, which tells me that's a brutal swing. They get 3 more Fairy Winds there during my Incinerate animation, and I'm able to throw the Fly. I'm going to look for a swap here, though, to try to switch this up a little bit. Opponent comes in with Superior, and this is actually looking pretty good for us because we are going to outpace the Superior to the first Rock Tomb, and it allows us to debuff them, which means that Frenzy Plant won't be enough to KO, which likely leads to another Rock Tomb from our Claydol, which is really nice. Opponent does throw the charge attack. This will be the Frenzy Plant as predicted. We are very close to being Vine Whipped down, so I'm forced to throw there. I don't even go for the Mud Slap. And I think you'll see here, oh, actually, maybe I could have gone for the Mud Slap there, but regardless, we come in with the Talonflame. We get a full Incinerate through, baby. Let's go. I'm not going to shield here because a double debuffed Aerial Ace is going to hurt less than a neutral non-debuffed Brutal Swing. So we're going to save both of our shields for the Talonflame and look for a big old sweep here against the opponent. Going to throw this first Fly, but you can see the writing on the wall, everybody. It looks like the first Fly does pick up the shield. Second Fly will connect. One thing I will say is that I did go up against an Alolan Sandslash and a Azumarill team with this squad later on in some other battles, and it did not go so well. So definitely watch out for the Alolan Sandslash. Obviously, if you can corner with Talonflame, that's the best case scenario, but we don't always get what we wish for. Sometimes we do, though. All right, everybody, that is our first episode of Climbing Out of the Pits. New series coming to you live on the channel, and I hope that you'll tune in for the next one. A nice 4-1 takes us up to 2349. I think I got to 2400s earlier today, so we're starting the revival, everybody. Hope to see you in the next one. Take care.